Welcome to SVG-TV News for Thursday, August 4th, 2022. I am Yvesta Boynes with the details. The government of St. Vincent and the Grenadines has outlined new recommendations which will govern the employment of unvaccinated persons. A memo from the Public Service Commission dated August 2nd says government has approved the employment of unvaccinated persons in specific positions. Cabinet has decided that persons who apply for positions where the COVID-19 vaccine is a requirement, employment will be considered on a case-by-case basis. The memo says the terms and conditions for re-employment include mandatory and correct use of appropriate face masks in the workplace at all times, strict adherence to sanitization protocols, adequate physical spacing, and mandatory COVID-19 testing at a frequency to be determined by the Chief Medical Officer. Unvaccinated teachers will be required to test weekly, and they will be provided with the first 4 tests free, after which they will be responsible for the cost of testing. The memo also states that the employment of unvaccinated staff at educational institutions will be on a contractual basis initially, after which consideration may be made for permanent employment. At that stage, provisions for pension benefits will apply, and prior service will also be taken into account for the calculation of retirement benefits. Commenting on the memo from the Service Commission, President of the SVG Teachers Union, Oswald Robinson, says that the protocols are discriminatory toward unvaccinated teachers. In an interview with SVG-TV News, Robinson notes that the requirement for weekly testing will be a financial burden for teachers.
Because we know that whether you're vaccinated or not, you could contract and you could spread COVID, right? But you notice the release is only saying that the unvaccinated are the only ones required to present a test. And if I read correctly, the test seems to be very frequent. I mean, they said that they would pay for the first 4 tests, but that is just a catch. Because what happens after that? Would the teachers be in a position? Well, I shouldn't say if the teachers would be in a position to pay for a test. We don't know if it's a rapid test or if it's a PCR test. Because the PCR test normally is about $375. It ranges from $100 to $375 for one test. And if you have to present one as frequency as the CMO would say, we don't know how frequent. They might be saying every week. They might be saying every 2 weeks. And think about a teacher who makes just $1,500 a month, and you have to pull out almost half of that for 2 tests every month. So it's part of your salary.
The SVGTU president is also calling on the government to repeal the COVID-19 vaccine mandate, as he believes it is illegal.
We are also calling to repeal the law. The government needs to change the law, because we believe what they did is illegal, is unconstitutional. So you can't be just doing a little thing here and think, well, you're doing it in the interest of the... You must start the schools. Time is catching up on them. And remember, I have spoken and I said that within 2 weeks, something must be done. So time is running out. They need to start the schools, so they are trying to throw little bait here and there.
Unvaccinated teachers who were dismissed last year for refusing to comply with the government's vaccine mandate said they will not be taking up the offer to reapply for their jobs. This was revealed by President of the SVG Teachers Union, Oswald Robinson. He says members have confided in the union that they have no confidence in the words coming from the Prime Minister. In a recent radio program, Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves pleaded with the dismissed teachers and other public servants to reapply for their jobs.
Well, we consulted with them, and that's the message they send, that they're not going to reapply, because if they reapply, you're not sure. If you have a government telling you something today, and then tomorrow telling you something else, and the next day telling you something else, there's no trust, there's no confidence. And people's eyes are open now and know you can't trust. Well, our teachers are resolute. They're not going to reapply. They're not going to reapply. Because if you notice what happened, they have changed the conditions for teaching. And they have done that unilaterally. And that's another legal battle we may have to fight. If the teachers union has an agreement with the government where there are conditions for entry into the teaching profession and there are laws that speak to that, how could you willy-nilly change that when this government speaks about the inclusion of civil society into its policy formation and monitoring and that sort of thing? The union is a recognized teachers union. The union is registered and has a representative voice for the teachers of the nation.
The SVGTU president says he believes that teachers should be reinstated with full benefits and awarded damages. He further encourages the teachers to remain steadfast with the union, adding the court challenge brought by the unions against the government will be heard at the end of November.
Take no chances. Don't take any bait. What we need to get is to be reinstated. No bait, reinstate with all benefits and damages. You see? So our position remains the same. We have not changed, and we're not going to change until the government see what it means to listen to the people. Our position is that you must be reinstated with all your benefits. And when we say all the benefits, there are people who would have done so many years, make sure that the pension benefits are retained. The months that the teachers have been fired by the government, those months, those monies, they need to be paid up because the interest rate now on some of the loans that people have and the mortgages and so on, the insurance that they can't cover themselves and the family, all those are damages which we are calling for, which will be dealt with in the court of law.
The Ministry of Agriculture received technical assistance and support from the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations, the FAO, on the methodology for census planning at a 4-day session held at the Kingstown Methodist Church Hall this week. Every decade, the FAO develops and promotes the World Program for the Census of Agriculture, a set of international guidelines which provide the basis for the planning, implementation, and dissemination of agriculture censuses. The use of these guidelines by FAO member countries ensures that the census results are harmonized and internationally comparable and allows countries to benchmark their performance against others. Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Agriculture, Nerissa Gittins-McMillan, in her opening remarks, explains that the agriculture census will chart the way and assist the ministry in improving its operations.
We have reached out to the FAO and they have positively responded. They have the technical know-how to assist us to get the best possible result so that we can move the agriculture and fisheries sector forward. It's only on Friday we have seen the opening of the rainforest building, which would be engaged in exporting fish from St. Vincent, fish and fish products from St. Vincent. The company has promised to buy 20 million EC dollars worth of produce from us every year. Do we have that? Do we have what they're asking for? How do we know that we have that? How do we sustain? How do we ensure that after year one, rainforest can't find anything else and go on about its business, and we can't have any fish to eat?
Gittins-McMillan highlights that the census will give the ministry a complete inventory of crops, livestock, and fisheries.
If we're paying attention, we would realize that this, your being here, is no joke matter. This is serious business we are talking about, because the census would give us the capacity to know what we have and how best we can use it, whether it's in terms of crops, livestock, and in this case, fisheries. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have to recognize also that a lot of households in St. Vincent are depending on all of us in this room to produce, to ensure that food is always present in St. Vincent and the Grenadines at the best possible rate. And in order to do that, we need to have the best data to make policies. The better the data, the better we are at our jobs, the better it is for the development of St. Vincent.
The overarching objective of the workshop was to build the capacities of national officers in census methodology, data collection, and census operation. An overview of the Census of Agriculture and Fisheries 2024 was presented with the steps to implement. The workshop provided the opportunity to finalize the upcoming pretest of census instruments. Meanwhile, FAO Sub-Regional Statistician for the Caribbean, Maxime Lucien, outlines the FAO recommendation on agriculture census, noting it should be conducted every 10 years. He says this allows for the monitoring of changes occurring in the agricultural sector.
Census is for you. This is the census for St. Vincent and the Grenadines. It's been more than 20 years since the last census was conducted. And you know the sector very well. And the changes are happening in front of you every day. But for us to have a clear idea on the structure of the agricultural sector, we need good, accurate, and timely data. Therefore, the census is one step in this process. I don't want you to see the census as an ad hoc activity. It is designed to be part of an integrated statistical system that will equip the ministry, that will equip the data users. And here I'm referring to farmers' organization, I'm referring to the normal farmer, I'm referring to the academics, I'm referring to the media. We need a statistical system that can provide the information on the agricultural sector. And this year, we're so glad that the Census of Agriculture will be conducted together with the fisheries sector. And this is new for St. Vincent to have an extensive data collection on the fisheries sector. And we are pleased to support the entire process.
10 students who successfully completed the Caribbean Primary Exit Assessment, the CPEA, were awarded academic and socio-economic scholarships from the Kingston Cooperative Credit Union Limited, the KCCU. Miles Dalton, Matthew Brown, Devin Warner, Darice Adams, Karen Providence, Albertisha Grant, Chad Alexander, Nariah Samuel, Kalisha Cato, and Shamira Tremingham received their scholarships today during a ceremony hosted at the KCCU. Senior Education Officer for Primary Schools Hannah Brown says the support from the KCCU is timely considering the tough economic climate in St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
We are indeed living in challenging times when every dollar counts and when all financial support, no matter how small, is appreciated. Thus, we are grateful for your consistency, 27 years, in providing these scholarships for our students. Be assured that these scholarships will go a long way in assisting our students in their educational pursuits and will help to take the financial pressure off their parents.
Brown urges the students to show their appreciation for the scholarships by working hard and excelling in their studies.
To those of you who are awardees today, the Ministry of Education congratulates you for your hard work and the success you have achieved so far. However, I must caution you, students, that this is just the beginning. You need to keep on working, leading, and excelling for financial support to continue. I know how important financial support is, especially in times like these. Therefore, you must be thankful to the Kingston Cooperative Credit Union for its financial support and show your gratitude by doing well at school. I always like to use this quote: "There's no such thing as a free lunch. Someone always pays." So somebody paid for this. All the members who are investing in this organization are contributing to your education.
Guest speaker and 2013 scholarship recipient Delanette reminds students that if they encounter failures in life, to be patient and keep trying.
Some of you may have been doing well throughout school because of your dedication and all your natural gifts. But at some point, you'll come across a challenge or an area that just doesn't respond to the same way. You may work hard, just as hard as you have in other areas, but you don't immediately see success. This may go very poorly. Okay. All right, okay, it didn't. I spent weeks dropping balls to figure that out. In the process of failing, I want to suggest to be patient. Do your best to learn from them and be content with doing your best. Keep picking up those balls and keep trying again if it's important for you to do that.
Meanwhile, 40 students from secondary school and community college benefited from the FLOW Scholarship Program. FLOW Country Manager Wayne Hull says the company invests about $60,000 annually into the scholarship program, which has been active for over 30 years. He says the company is committed to learning and community development.
I am always pleased that we as a company can really deliver on this commitment to learning and development through our annual scholarship program. For me, this is always a proud moment, and indeed it's a proud moment of FLOW and our team here at FLOW that we can reward academic excellence within the community of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And we want to enable and encourage learning and development, and more importantly, growth within our community. And this FLOW scholarship is just one of that, program that we use to support that pillar of learning.
The Public Service Union, the PSU, has awarded 4 scholarships to 4 students who were successful in this year's Caribbean Primary Exit Assessment. Speaking at the awards ceremony today, General Secretary Alexander Ross describes education as a passport to the future, adding the Public Service Union is happy to be part of the children's education journey. Ross also encourages the awardees to continue to strive for excellence.
I want to say to the persons who are receiving the scholarships this morning, take this as an opportunity that other persons really wish they had, because we understand the challenging economic times that we're living in, and we hear it every day, every dollar counts at the end of the day. So please, I am encouraging you. You have an opportunity to grow on an academic level. You have the union behind of you, backing you. You have your parents. Take this opportunity and run with it. You are given, or you will be told, the percentage that you have to maintain to hold the scholarship. And I really want you to fight for it, because I know a lot of you will be going to the top schools, where it will be very, very competitive there. Do not tell yourself in any shape or form that anybody is better than, or anybody can achieve, and you will not. Once you take your time, once you invest the time, once you do the work, then at the end of the day, you will reap what you would have sown.